I felt alive about being both prosecutor or public defender. And even before I got the job at being a public defender, I knew I was not going to be a prosecutor. Making it to the second level of the Bronx District Attorney's Office. And I don't give a fuck, because that interview was bananas. I'll throw him under the bus. So I'm at this interview, right? And, so first level is like resume. Sometimes they'll do an in-person interview. Second level is like an in-person interview. You might have to like fucking do an oral argument, or open statement. You're gonna have to go over your resume. You have to go over your experience. It's supposed to be a very extensive interview.
So the DA's
like I said,
office.
There's a DA's office.
DA's
It's
office.
kind of the same thing with public defender's office.
Yeah.
Like they're going to decide if whether you can hack it, right? And what they wanted was a personal statement going in. So I told you guys about how I was in Brooklyn Defender's Office, and there was a guy who did a seminar, and like his seminar was all about, you guys are here because you guys want to do the right thing. That's the phrase he used.
So
The phrase that
prosecutor's office.
Prosecutor's office.
Yeah.
You guys want to do the right thing, and that was the phrase that I put in my essay. And what he was basically implying is that being an attorney is a skill that you can use to accomplish many goals, right? But if you are like a law firm attorney or contract attorneys, basically you're just you're a tool that someone else is using to get a goal. Whether it's suing somebody or getting a contract that's $1 billion, but you're making money for other people, right?
Yes.
And sometimes it's not necessarily morally correct, right? Like sometimes the good parent is not going to get the kid because the bad parent has the better attorney, or the good company is not going to win the lawsuit because the victim in the car crash has a shitty attorney. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not necessarily doing the right thing for the right client if you work in those fields, because you are just an employee of whoever hires you.
But you always are in this job.
Well, that's how I felt going into being a prosecutor. I thought that if I became a prosecutor, I'm always doing the right thing because it's about justice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am.
Exactly.
Justice. So I'm going to be prosecuting people who committed crimes, allegedly, that I will be able to determine if they actually committed the crimes, and I will be able to prosecute them with what I felt was the right level of authority and law. And like, so my essay was literally, I want this job because I want to do the right thing. That I want my job to pay me to do the right thing. That I don't want a job that I'm paid to just do the right thing for a person. Like get them money, get them something, like win a case. I don't want to win a case. I don't want to win a case that I know I shouldn't win. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I don't want to.
Right.
It's like a
Give-
social larger reason.
Exactly.
for-
I want
it's a
to do
purpose.
the right thing.
Yeah.
And that's what this
Shout out
guy
Spike
told
Lee.
us in this seminar,
Right.
right? So that's what I wrote in my essay. I wrote this in my essay. And I go into the interview, and I'm thinking like, I'm slightly, like my spelling is terrible. Like I have a slight dyslexia, so sometimes I'll be mixing up the words. But the themes and the emotions of that essay are on point.
But did you even know
First
what
thing
justice is?
Huh?
Did you even know what
Well,
justice is when you interview for them?
You learn that in life. I learned that. I walk into that interview
At the DA's office.
after a little while. They're like, so what do you mean about do the right thing?
What does this do the right thing stuff?
What is this do the right thing Riggs? I'm like, are they fucking with me? This is a test. This is a test. I can explain it. I wrote it. Eugene, just explain what you wrote. Well, I meant that, I'm not getting paid just to get a goal. What the goal is justice. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. And they're like, no, what do you mean? Because, sometimes you don't know what the right thing is. And, I was like, whoa, what the fuck are you guys talking? It felt very, and basically at the end of it, I realized that maybe one day I will, and I'm actually applying what I learned in the future, that maybe one day you want someone who's capable of doing the right thing or not doing the right thing. But when you first hired me, you may not want me to do the right thing.
I think
you might not want me to do what you think is the right thing, not what my conscience thinks is the right
I
thing.
think interviewing for a PD office is much easier than interviewing for a DA office or trying to become a cop. based on what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I didn't know that at the moment, but it
Justice
was that interview that made me realize that, like, fuck, man. I grew up in the Bronx. I went to college. I went to high school in the Bronx. I went to college in the Bronx. I know Bronx people. I've been assaulted. I've been attempted to rob. They didn't get into my stuff. I've been through shit. So if anyone could be a prosecutor in the Bronx, I thought I could. But the fact that they were trying to imply their definition of the right thing to me, that was like kind of like the first moment I realized maybe I would be better at a public defender. And I once I became a public defender, I very much realized that, like, at least personally, that is a better experience.
Justice doesn't mean it's necessarily right. I think that's the issue that I think a lot of, prosecutors may have. Like, just because you get justice in a case doesn't necessarily mean that it's right.
Well,
You know what I mean?
depending on whose justice it is.
That's what I'm saying. Justice is subjective. So who are you to say that that's the right outcome of that case? Right?
Prosecutors take the side of. Sorry, go ahead. Like they take the side. They think that they're like sort of like pseudo defense attorneys, where they're representing the person that was harmed, the business.
But they're
or, like,
representing the people.
But they're representing the people. They're representing like
Including my client.
including my
my
client. Yeah, right.
And his family.
Yeah,
Or
so
her family.
or and actually appreciating his circumstances and coming up to like a reasonable. That's
So
justice.
this is like a poetic concept that I have in my mind, but whenever I think about my clients as a doer of wrong, right? They're the defendant. They did something to somebody. Whether they're actually innocent or guilty, they're accused of doing something, right?
Sure.
What I realize is that if they are guilty of doing that crime, there are two victims in that circumstance. One victim is the victim
Person they
of-
hurt.
the person they hurt.
Yeah.
And then, to me personally, the way I look at life, they are the victim of society, because what happened in their life that put them in a situation where they needed to harm another person, right?
And that's the
Because
hard
I personally have never been in a situation where I need to rob somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You
Need
never
is
been
the
like
wrong
an-
word, but like I felt like that was a smart idea, right?
Never been like
And
an
that
evil
if you
client.
actually are committing crimes, so sometimes, obviously, to the rest of society, it's like, why the fuck are you doing that?
Right.
But maybe for you, that's how you
You've
put
never been-
fucking bread on the table. That's
Fear.
how you.
Fear is the biggest motivator. You've never
So,
been that desperate.
and the
That's
fact
what it
that
is.
society has allowed you to get there means you're a victim just as much as your victims are a victim.